possible, and so I won't even think through or entertain any version of history that includes a supernatural element. I just have to say that itself is a worldview. It's a predetermined way of viewing reality.
Bot Rix has correctly joined the channel.
Unscientific. What do I mean by that? You cannot arrive at this place where you believe that the only form of evidence that is viable is the type of evidence that can be placed under a microscope scientifically. You cannot place that claim under a microscope and measure it according to the level of scrutiny that you ask. That claim, that belief itself is unscientific. That belief itself is philosophical. It's simply predetermined. It must be physically measurable in order to be considered knowable or true, and that claim is not able to be measured in that way. I now want to go to the Talmud. So I'm going to give you this as a source that he mentioned, and I'm actually going to read for you 3 examples in the Talmud where they write about this Jesus character in the first century. So here's the first one. Forgive any mispronunciations. Shabbath 104b, quote, Jesus was a magician and a fool. Next, Sanhedrin 107b of the Babylonian Talmud. Jesus performed magic and incited the people of Israel and led them astray. Sanhedrin 43a, quote, Summer Eve, they hanged Jesus of Nazareth. He practiced sorcery, incited, and led Israel astray. And though they call it magic, they call it sorcery. It is that they're implicitly acknowledging the miraculous, even in their record, even as haters of what he did. That's very significant. Tacitus was a Roman historian, not just a dude who wrote some things down, a person who was dedicated to recording the historical events that happened in the biblical story. And here's what Tacitus wrote. It's justice, even the name of its origin, suffered the extreme penalty of during the periods of the hands of religious superstition. So there you have the official Roman historian considering the life and the death of Jesus in history, which perfectly corroborates what the scriptures, meaning the Christian historic accounts, also say. Let's continue. So Josephus, Jewish historian, again, a person dedicated to recording. Here's what he said. This time that Jesus, a wise man.
Can you fucking lag anymore, my guy?
He surprising feats. He was the Christ. To be crucified. Those who had come to love him did not give up their affection for him. Third day he appeared, restored to life. His God disappeared. Josephus, a Jewish historian, Lucian, who was actually a Greek, 2nd century Greek scientist. Lucian said, he said, Christians worship in vain. Distinguished Josephus introduced he was crucified on that account. Impressed on them by their original lawgiver, from the moment that they converted crucified
Dude, what is this fucker's lag, man?
The point is the historic Jesus and crucified Jesus is it really supernatural supernatural Jesus just and then you have
Oh my god, you laggy piece of shit.
Christians coming around to being willing to die for these things. It's not just Paul, it's also this 500, it's also all of the people whose lives were transformed by their belief in this message. The first century church believed in this crucified and risen Jesus. Please consider that it is at this time. The next universe is new, uncreated, perfect, spaceless, timeless, immaterial, which is simply called God. That is far more likely that if you accept the first miracle, which is creation, wouldn't it be amazing if that creator God did enter into the human story and write himself into it, like Shakespeare entering into Hamlet, becoming a man, the Word becoming flesh, Christ with us. And for what reason? To positively change the world. Christ for all nations. Christ, the hope of glory. Christ, the myth made real. If you don't want Christianity to be true, you don't understand it rightly. If you understand it rightly, you'll see that Jesus is not only the image of the invisible God, but he's the hero that we've always longed for as a species at the deepest level of our heart. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm here in the edit, and I just want to make one other really quick note. This video is in no way exhaustive. What we said about the death and the burial and the resurrection of Jesus. So if you feel like, is that it? The answer is no, that's not it. In fact, I'm going to put a video in the description. For a video accidental facts approach. So you can see this that we're doing here is just like a hitting up the appetite and introduction to the conversation. There's a lot more things here. That being said, all right, I'm gonna get back to the rest of the video.
How strong are you?
I weigh over 115 kilos.
I need an AFK journey.
500k power.
That's too low. Boost it to 8 million.
Just started playing. 8 million is impossible for me.
AFK journey is giving full heroes for free, so nothing is impossible. Just log into Game Hero every day, and don't forget to explore the famous sites so you can run in over 200 free recruit tickets. Building a powerful formation is so easy.
AFK Journey. Download now. This game just right now. Check out its graphics. Its graphics. Open your app store right now and fill in the left. This game is a new mushroom island, where you can build your own mushroom and level it all the way up to defeat every enemy pool. Also, you can to build your own mushroom farm. Seriously, everyone's playing it right now. You don't want to miss out. So download the mushroom.
Get 3,000 consecutive free draws.
Most splendid. For some time I had feared my request for Khadgar's essays on dimensional convergence had been overlooked by Master Mason of the Academy of Arcane Arts and Sciences. He must be bogged down with requests considering the many strange happenings going on. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to begin my research at once to finally glimpse the insight of one as great as Khadgar excites me to no end.
Where would you like to fly to? Be careful.
Oh my god, it's finally here.
But before we get into the video, I want to tell you guys about a useful tool I've been using to help me win more ranked games. And that's our today's sponsors, Porofessor. Porofessor is a ride-approved app on
궁극의 커스텀 웰뉴라이프 프레스티지 의자와
The
함께하는
long-awaited grand final match of ASL Season 17, brought to you by Well Life Ultimate Custom Prestige Gaming Chairs, is finally here.
네, 역대급 명경기들이
From the ultimately star-studded lineup of this 17th season, only two players remain in Sulky and Hero. Waiting for today's match are Hero, eyeing a championship title after a perennial struggle in the ASL, and the winner of last season's Sulky, looking to get back-to-back championship runs. Let's take a look at the journey, the process that brought the two players all the way here.
정말 오랜만에 24강부터 도전을
Hero fought his way through the round of 24 after a long while of not having to do so, facing one moment of crisis but regardless advancing in second place, and then succeeding in advancing in first place out of the round of 16. Facing Rush in the round of 8, whom he would unfortunately always succumb to in extended series, Hero managed to win 3-1. Taking down Sharp in the round of 4 with a 4-1, Hero advances to the grand final after 13 seasons. Hero fought his way through Terrans of colossal proportions this season to make the finals. On the other hand, we have Sulky, who, as a seeded player, started his journey in the round of 16 where he advanced with a clean record of 3 consecutive victories. In the round of 8, Sulky met Mini, his grand final opponent of last season. Dropping the first 2 maps, Sulky managed to once again get a reverse sweep and advanced on to the round of 4. Defeating another Protoss powerhouse in the semi-finals in Snow, Sulky stamped his name in the grand finals once again. This season, Sulky gets here off the back of victories against Protoss players. Up next, we have the storylines shaping up for both players should they win today, starting with Hero, who, after 14 tries across the seasons, will be getting his first title, becoming the 5th Zerg champion in ASL after Effort, Queen, Lava, and Sulky, and the 13th unique player to get an ASL title. For Sulky, this will be his second ASL ASL Championship, becoming the 4th player to do so after Flash, Effort, and Queen. Having won last season as well, this would make Sulky the 3rd player to get back-to-back championships, alongside Flash and Queen. Today's match, this finals, will be the second Zerg vs Zerg Grand Final in the ASL, with the first one being back in Season 10 between Soma and Queen, so this is going to be the first ZVZ since then. Tune in all the way to the end to see which one of our players will rise to the throne today. Throughout the history of the ASL, there's been a law that, a jinx, that whoever wins the first set takes the championship, starting with the Banff National Star League all the way up to last season, for a total of 17 finals. This law has not been broken once, but there is talk it might get broken this time around, as both players, despite having lost the first set in extended series on the way here, managed to win their matches regardless. We will have to keep an eye on whether this jinx is broken this time. We asked the ASL players to give us their predictions on how this grand final match between Sulky and Hero might go, and the results are in for the 14 players from the round of 16, as 9 players expect Hero to get his first championship here. With the results leaning in Hero's favor, let's keep watching to see if the players were right. Let's also take a look at the viewers' predictions for today's match. Here are the results of a poll running on the Africa TV Predictions website until 5 PM today, with 51% of fans expecting Hero to win and 49% leaning towards a sulky victory. With how neck and neck the viewers' predictions are, today's match is surely going to be an interesting one. Sulky and Hero are waiting to take the stage here at the grand final of ASL Season 17 with Well New Life Ultimate Custom Prestige Gaming Chairs, and as we wonder who indeed will become the champion today, let's get this show on the road.
4강에서 올라가지 못한 적이 굉장히 많았거든요. 이제 더 강력해졌습니다.
약점 돌파가 너무 좋은데요. 찢어버리고 있어요.
거칠 게 없어요. 위험을 모릅니다. 7년 만에 길고 긴 겨울잠에서 깨고 우승 트로피를 들어올릴 수 있는 그 시즌이
풀세트에서 항상 무릎을 꿇었었던
대역전극이 나왔습니다. 드디어 우승자가 됩니다.
페페 승승승을 만들었습니다.
페페 승승승승으로 결승 진출.
멘탈이 철벽이에요. GG 사인을 받아내기 전까지는 절대 방심할 수 없는 2회 연속 우승에 도전한.
이번에 우승을 하라고 운이 따라주는 게 아닌가?
2연속 우승에 3연속 우승까지 바라볼 생각이거든요.
ASL Season 17,
more colorful. A showcase of vibrant plays in every group. As a total of 28 players tossed their hats in the ring this season. 11 Terran, 7 Zerg, and 6 Protoss at the start of the round of 24. With no upsets and top-tier players advancing, Terran stood Rimrod and formed half of the round of 16. And a group nomination ceremony with an ultimate twist. As the Terrans started dropping out of each group, Protoss snatched almost all of the victories, making up half of the round of 8. A struggle to stand up to the opposing race, the dreaded extended series, a mirror, and a rematch from last season's finals was what awaited. A defending champion and 3 survivors in the semi-finals. With just 3 Zergs in the round of 16, withstanding attacks from the Soul Terran and Protoss, the final challenge arises, and now, in a ceremony of opposites, a violent clash of 2 Zergs, the grand final match shall unfold. Season in,
매
season
시즌
out,
결승
stopped in his
목전에서
tracks on his
멈춰있던
way to the
4강
finals, the
리그
semi-finals
마침내
match.
13시즌
Finally,
만에
after
두
13
번째 결승에
seasons, taking
진출하며
the second ever grand
ASL 첫
finals,
트로피를
playing his
노립니다.
first ASL trophy,
폭발적 경기력의
exerts
적에
explosive competitive
출전!
performance. It's Hero.
지난
Just like
시즌
the
역습과
reverse sweep
함께
last season, now
모든
pulling out
벽을
all the
부순
stops, standing
이제 어느
steadfast, whatever
상황에서도
may
질
come.
것까지 하는
Sulky
철벽
the wall, now
또 12년
chasing
연속
after a
우승 향해
back-to-back
달립니다.
championship, the
완벽한
perfect zone,
적에
the iron
철벽
wall zone.
적에 김민철
ASL
시즌
season 17,
17
the
해외
long-awaited
결승전
grand final
대결
bout, as two
철저의 두
ultimate zones
저그들이
take the stage for
결승
this
무대 대결
showdown.
펼치게 됐습니다.
Hero and Sulky
조일장 선수와
Sulky and Hero's
김민철 선수와
contest.
조일장
on
선수의
this
대회
grand final stage.
결승 무대 두
Let's talk to
선수와
them.
이야기를 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 김민철 선수는
Sulky made the
지난
finals
시즌에도
last season.
결승,
He was the
지난 시즌
champion last season.
우승.
But you,
하지만
Hero,
조일장 선수는
throughout those 13 seasons, elimination, and now the
이제
finals.
결승.
Sulky has
김민철은
a
우승 트로피 하나
championship, a
있고
championship trophy,
우승 상금 있고
championship
우승
prize
챔피언십이
money,
있고
and you, Hero,
조일장은
you're a
4강
round
리그
4 player. Look
우승
at this.
트로피
Look at the trophy.
보고 계십니까?
This is your second time
오늘
on the grand final
만약에
stage.
무너지게
Today,
되면
if you were to lose,
2연속 결승전에
Sulky
올라간
gets
김민철
his second win,
선수에게
and you forfeit the trophy.
트로피와
You forfeit the prize money to
상금까지
him.
전부 다 넘겨주는 상황이 돼버렸습니다.
But
하지만
many of
많은
your peers
동료들은 조일장 선수가
predict you to
우승을
win.
차지할 거라는 예측을 해주셨거든요.
Do you feel the pressure?
부담되지 않습니까?
사실
Not really,
부담은
to be
전혀 안
honest.
되고요. 뭐 많은 선수들이
The
예측한
colleagues
데는
must have had a reason to
그만한
make
이유가
these
있다고 생각을
predictions.
해서
I'll show you why.
보여드리면 될 것 같아요.
Oh, are you not shaken?
흔들리지 않아요.
Is it the time for your first taste of a championship?
이번이
This is it.
적기입니다.
And now Sulky, the wall. Are you grinning?
웃어요. 아니 여기 지금
Hero
우승이
is saying this is going to be
적기라고
his
우승 트로피
first time.
뺏어간다는데
He's going to snatch the
김민철 선수는
trophy away, and
미소를
Sulky's
짓고
smiling to
있습니다.
himself.
지난 4강 인터뷰 때
In the round of 4
우승
interview, you
거의
said this
했다고
season is as
말씀해주셨잖아요.
good as yours already.
오늘 옆에서
And here
앞만
today,
쳐다보고 있는
Hero
조일장
is
선수를
looking
보니까
down
어떤
on you.
생각이
What do you
드세요?
think? I am very worried.
걱정돼요.
Why?
왜요?
Worried that this will be over
빨리
so quickly.
끝날까봐.
Worried this will end quickly.
그래서 좀 걱정이
Yeah, so I'm a
되네요.
little concerned.
AS 역사상 두
But
번째
this is the second time you've made it through to the round of 4 in ASL. The first time was a very close 4-3, but today meeting Hero, this will be a 4-0. This will be over in 40 minutes, is what Sulky says he's worried about. All of these people, they made the effort to come all the way here, and he's worried about sending them home just like that. Hero, what do you have to say? Right.
사실 제가
Honestly,
하려고 했는데 민철이가
honestly, I was about to
먼저
say that, but Sulky started throwing hands
쳐가지고
first. You know, I
일단은
too
저도
wish it would go
좀
long,
장기전을 갔으면 좋겠는데
but I'm a
이게
little
잘안될
worried
것
because that
같아서
probably
좀
won't be the
걱정이긴
case.
합니다.
와!
Sulky
철벽이 완벽인데
Sulky the wall is perfection, and
장기전에
you're
못 갈 것
saying it
같아요.
won't go long.
초반에 그냥 끝납니까?
You're ending it early,
그냥
just
끝나요?
like so.
오늘만큼
Perhaps this
철벽이
wall will be
무너지지
torn
않을까.
down today.
고문
Hero the
철벽을
bear
찢어!
will tear down Sulky the wall.
와 찢긴 저그!
A Zerg torn to
찢어버린
shreds.
저그! 오늘 지금
Oh,
여기서의
he's
포스가
bringing
좀
the power
바뀌었는데
today.
저는 약간
Are you a little scared,
좀
Sulky?
두려웠거든요. 김민철 선수 어떠셨어요?
I think he's
긴장한
anxious.
것 같아요.
Oh,
좀 느낌이 긴장한 것 같아서.
is this a different hero than the one you know from Zerg vs
오늘
Zerg
경기
match?
과연
Who?
This shit is so cringe.
For starters, making it into the finals after such a long time, after 7 years, I still can't really believe it. It could be because I've already made the finals once and won, but I'm quite composed having advanced here. But it is the finals, and I'm getting fired up.
바로 다음 시즌도 4강까지 가가지고
I made the round of 4 the following season, and I thought, well, as long as I do well, that should be fine. But I honestly did not expect to then lose so much. I was confident in the ZVZ against Lava, beating Rush, beating Light and advancing. I was very confident in my ZVT. But then I went on to lose to Rush again and again, and those best of 7s were really scary. I think meeting Rush was the toughest moment. When the bracket was drawn for this season, I even dropped my head in defeat. I was not confident, but I approached it with the mindset that it's not a best of 7, let's just try to do well, which seems to be why I won. Meeting Sharp, a best of 7 against Terran, what now? When I realized I've already shown my hand in the round of 8 ZVT, it was a bit of a headache. I took it one game at a time, and lo and behold, I won. That's why it still hasn't quite hit me somehow. I lost last season in the round of 8, and so the qualifiers, the round of 24, let's start from the bottom, I thought. I guess it's this approach that made me get stronger. I grew a lot with those defeats, looking at how I've made it into the finals. I think the group was quite easy. You know, I was very worried. What's going to happen if I drop out going into this as the champion of the previous season? I was worried for nothing. When I was on the back foot against Mini in the round of 8, it was a really tough moment. I thought to myself, what do I do to win this now? A 9 pull? He changed his build for the third set. I prepared a 12 hatch for the third map, but I realized if I just keep doing what I'm doing, I'll fall for one of Mini's builds. So I changed my own build. I think I won the round of 8 because that worked well. Meeting Snow? He's not an easy opponent, but I thought I'm probably a better player offline. I was confident. I didn't think I would be down 0-2. It was really tough to win one set, but I'm not one to go down easy. I engaged with the mindset that as long as I win the third game, it would be okay. I was so cheesed off about his Reaver usage. I didn't have anyone who does that to practice with. I was very anxious during the game. Am I losing this one, I thought? But I took it in the end. I think it's because of that one I managed to win the series. If I win this, it'll be a back-to-back championship. I think that's a much cooler title, which is why I gotta get it. And then it's time to look towards 3 in a row. Man, I'm greedy. I advanced playing solely Terran, and Solky only played Protoss, which is why this will be even more interesting. We have a storyline unfolding. I was hoping Hero would lose. I was hoping Terrans would end up advancing. To be completely frank, this season's ZVP is much harder. It seems I'm just doing better. A meeting of 2 Zergs of different styles. I think ZVZ is Hero's best matchup, but I've won more than he has, so I'm confident. Even when people said Solky isn't doing well in ZVZ, I still thought he was good at it. I've lost to him a lot in tournament play, so I am worried. But weirdly enough, I feel confident. As long as luck is on my side, I can win. It seems to be a clash of 2 completely different styles. There's this thing in ZVZ of compatibility between opponents. I think I'm a pretty tough opponent for Hero. Be able to show an interesting match.
May realize that we have turned into 3 handsome Korean men, and that is because
be able to show an interesting match. I will win today and get that trophy. Solky, you know you can't play ZVZ. I'll be winning this time. Even though I can't play ZVZ, I've beaten you.
What's up, everybody? We're finally here. This is the ASL Finals for Season 17. And it's going to be a crazy ZVZ, Artosis.
That's right, Tasteless. You guys at home may realize that we have turned into 3 handsome Korean men, and that is because the ASL Finals got moved. I actually have a family vacation that I'm on right now, so sorry about the lack of cameras, but we wanted to prioritize getting the finals out to you as quickly as we have the other episodes this season. So sorry about that. No cameras today, but it's going to be a great finals, Tasteless.
It's going to be a very special finals. Look, we're going to get to do a real deep dive into Zerg versus Zerg. Truth is, this matchup has become a really interesting one. We've seen some really dramatic changes in just the previous season of ASL. We've had games that did not come down to Mutalisk, Scourge, Zergling. We did see games where people were able to tech past that. That was wild. We've also had experimentation with long-distance mining from certain extractors at a natural expansion, for instance. In other words, making an extractor there and not making a hatchery. So I'm very curious to see what we're going to have in the matchup here today.
It definitely feels like the matchup has opened up a little bit in recent times, and I am hoping that we get some of those games. I think the games that we've had for Zerg vs. Zerg, which have been most interesting, have been ones where one player ends up having to go spores. That seems to be, right, the guy who kind of expands more quickly, and the other guy has quicker mutas, and then you have to go spores, but your opponent gets to expand then. And those seem to be the really dynamic Zerg vs. Zergs, where it feels like just about anything can happen.
We've got two very brainy Zerg players here today. I don't necessarily think that this ZVZ is going to come down to just control, even though I think out of all the matchups in StarCraft, this is probably the one that emphasizes control over all the other attributes a good StarCraft player can have. But I think we might have some very unusual openings here from both sides.
I hope so. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, these are two, well, I would say our two best Zergs for sure, but neither of them known just as aggressive Zergs. They're definitely players that have a mind for the later game. So I'm hoping that that kind of parlays itself into interesting Zerg vs. Zergs here in this series.
We could have had a very different finals, by the way. Sulky not managed to crush Snow. Really interesting round of 4 match there. Of course, Sharp getting to the Final Four was a big surprise as well. Of all the great players that we had here, we were a little bit, I think in some senses, even surprised he got into the round of 8, but he had a very deep run. But here we are, no Terrans or Protosses surviving. And with these two players, I don't think you could ever have a better ZVZ than this right now.
Yeah. Well, these are the two best Zergs. This is the defending ASL champion in Sulky, and of course, Hero has been the most stable player. He has the most round of 4s out of everybody, and certainly deserving to hit a championship, right? Like he's probably the player most deserving of a championship that doesn't have one yet. So I think it's a great one. And in fact, I was kind of thinking about it while I was watching the predictions of fans and what Hyun Kyung was saying and everything. And I gotta say, this is probably, in my opinion, the #1 coin flip finals we've ever had. I literally don't even have a favorite in my head.
Same. I don't come into this finals thinking that there is a clear, a clear favorite. It's going to be really, I think, a real back and forth. But, you know, it's going to be historic, whoever wins here. If Sulky wins, he's won 2 ASLs in a row. That is huge. That would basically make him the most dominant StarCraft 1 player for a full year. And, of course, if Hero wins, talk about finally getting that closure. He's had so many deep runs in ASLs. He's one of these players we've been talking about should win an ASL very soon here, but hasn't yet.
Yeah. I really do hope it's him, but also, you know, you gotta love these kind of like mini reigns of dominance that we see. I wouldn't mind seeing Sulky win a few ASLs in a row. He really has been of that level for so long. Like, I remember even back when Flash was dominating, right? It was like only Sulky and maybe Best could even take real games off of him on his stream, you know? So I'm so happy to see Sulky in this position where he may be the most dominant player in the world.
He does make it look easy. Honestly, both of these guys do. They make Zerg look so strong, so busted. It's going to be fun to see exactly how they interact with each other. And the fact that it's a best of 7 in ZVZ should be really special because there's just so much time to try to read off of each other. You know, ZVZ, it's a little bit sharp around the edges as a matchup. You could be punished very quickly. It's one of the easiest matchups to just outright lose. But these guys, you know, they have a lot of information on each other. There's going to be a lot of prepping and a lot of mind games we might not even be able to follow here.
Yeah, I would say likely that we're not quite able to follow because these guys have definitely seen each other's ZVZ. They've definitely played before. And there are all sorts of little tactics and tricks that you can pull off in Zerg vs. Zerg. One that comes to mind that I'm sure that we'll end up seeing here today, Sulky loves running 2 Lings out of his army to the side of the map and trying to find the ideal time to counterattack with them. And while that doesn't sound like a lot, 2 Zerglings can win you the game if you get a drone or 2 with them.
Oh, absolutely. You don't get a lot of units in this matchup, and so it's a little bit different than any of the other matchups in the game. You know, one thing about StarCraft, generally speaking, is you can have a whole bunch of cool interactions with a small number of units at the start, but generally speaking, we think of these bigger battles, bigger techs, the whole map being consumed, and and dominated. Sometimes maps even mine out, and it comes down to that last expansion. ZVZ is a very, very different beast. You know, each unit in the matchup is almost on a level of Warcraft 3 importance, if that makes sense. That, you know, you really can't. I mean, 1 or 2 drones down can cost you the game.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it's a higher level of importance in Warcraft 3 because you just get such slow supplies. Like, the amount of Zerg vs. Zerg games that we have that end by 20 supply is astounding. Like, very oftentimes you'll just look at it and be like 10 drones to 9, and I'm like, ooh, I know who's going to win this one.
Yeah, it's so, you know, the early game is going to be very important. There are a lot of interesting mind games and strategies that can happen, but tactics come into an important role here as well. You know, Mutalisk Micro, once players figured out that you could actually get so abusive with Muta Micro, it opened up another tactical opportunity where Ling counterattacks can be really strong because some players end up tunnel visioning while they're microing those mutas. And so it's going to be fun. We're going to have to really keep our eyes peeled on the mini-map and watch for every, you know, moment where there's an interaction or a possible surprise.
Yeah, that's for sure. Tasis, I gotta say, I already kind of mentioned that to me, this is a huge coin flip of a matchup as far as the finals go. Do you have one player that you're kind of leaning towards here in a ZVZ?
You know, if I had to lean towards one, I think Sulky. He seems to be very comfortable, very in his element. You know, Sulky, he's a player that he's not the first to be the best, but I think if he's given enough time, he seems to be able to fit that mold. We saw him do this in StarCraft 2. There were periods where he was basically the best Zerg in StarCraft 2. Switched back into StarCraft 1 and looked good, but you know, it took him time. And it took him time with StarCraft 2 as well. But eventually, he was able to really just start to dominate. He's also a player who's able to do a reverse sweep and a reverse comeback in tournaments before. So it's hard to see him really getting pinned down and not having some kind of an avenue where he can recover.
Yeah, he is certainly good at that, but I always kind of remember back the reason why I personally have attributed him to not having more ASL victories is his Zerg vs. Zerg, but maybe that's less on the back of how strong his Zerg vs. Zerg is and more on the back of how volatile that matchup can be. But, you know...
We've joked before that this was the big punishment for Zerg players. The race is so strong and they have so many cool things they can do, but the gamer gods damned them with this mirror matchup that is so punishing. And in some ways, you know, it's got such a high volatility.
It is kind of a wild thing when you think about it, right? Like, is Zerg vs. Zerg end so quickly because Mutas and Lings are so strong? Zerg is such a good attacking race that it can just kill itself in the mirror matchup. And then you look at the other mirrors, and it's like, you know, you kind of see the real flavor of the race. Like, you know, Protoss vs. Protoss is pretty fast, and then you have Terran vs. Terran. It's like, well, no one can kill each other because of siege tanks. But Zerg vs. Zerg, they are cursed or blessed, how you may look at it with this one.
We're going to be going to Radeon here for map number 1. This is going to be Hero's pick. It's going to go Hero Sulky, all the way down until, if we're lucky enough to get a game number 7 on Blitz. All right, guys, we're ready to do this. This is the ASL Finals. Which Zerg is going to take it here? Will it be Hero or will it be Sulky? We're going to start to find out right now. Okay, we've got cross spawns here. Sulky in the bottom right, Hero in the top left. We were talking a little bit before the game started about the fact that we have seen actually some changes in this matchup, and there's been 2 big ones. We've seen games that did not boil down to Scourge, Mutalisk, Zergling, in the fact that there was a way to tech past that after a very, very tumultuous game. But the one that I'm more excited about is the fact that we've seen this new technique of putting an extractor at the expansion, but there's no hatchery. So it's long-distance mining to get extra gas. And I think it's very map-dependent. You know, you need to have an extractor that's at least kind of close to the hatchery, or you have to make your second hatchery on your ramp. Yeah, it's going to be cool to see if we're going to have any of that here today.
Yeah, interesting you bring that up because the player that we saw do that was actually Queen, who's a 2-time ASL champ, who they just showed on screen. The stats is #1 in ASL as far as Zerg vs. Zerg goes. Number 2 being Larva, number 3 being Hero, number 4 being Sulky, all of them above 50% win rates. Which, you know, in a matchup as punishing as this, as volatile as this, is still very, very good. But it's kind of funny to see, you know, we were talking about that earlier with ZVZ and how crazy that can be. If you look at, like, the best PvP player, the win rate is, like, in the 60s rather than 55%.
Now, I want to see if we're going to have any other changes here, any of these new styles coming out in this matchup. By the way, Hatchery expansion compared to Hatchery in the main, so it's going to be a slower start here for a ZVZ. You know, this matchup has been a funny one since the very beginning. People were really kind of perplexed about, you know, is it actually this limited? I'm not talking about when the game first came out. Like, do you really only go Mutalisk Zergling? There was a period of time where people were trying to experiment with 2-hatch Hydralisk or expand Hydralisk builds. I don't think we've ever seen any of them in pro matches. Or if someone knows, please let me know. I'd love to actually go look at that and just see what that actually looked like. But basically within the first 2 years of the game being out, everything kind of came down to Zergling Mutalisk. But, you know, we do see the emergence of these things like we were talking about the long-distance mining from the extractor to the natural. We've also had, in years past, VSL builds where people got the gas and really, really early. And it would look like a 9-pull opening, but in fact, they were able to bank way more gas than a normal game. So, again, I think there's still so much more potential for this matchup to show us.
I definitely do agree with you on that. It does feel like it's still not completely explored. I guess all matchups in StarCraft feel like that. There's just so much skill inherent in it. But looking at this particular game, a hatchery in the main base versus a hatchery at the natural, you have to say that this heavily favors Hero, right? Like, he's going to have access to that secondary gas, yet they're going to have the same amount of volume.
Right. Yeah, I mean, having an extra base is going to be really nice. Obviously, they don't know what each other's builds are at the very beginning of the game, so there is some safety in putting a hatchery in your main. But if you have to compare these two builds right now, clearly Hero, for the longer the game goes on, clearly Hero should be in a better position.
Yeah, I think that that is certainly what we're looking at here, and I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do. Look at this. Hero gets down, sees no natural hatchery. This might put him into a defensive stance. He might look at this and say, okay, I could be in trouble. This might be an all-in. But look at that. He puts down, they're both putting down their Spire at like the same time, but we have a Sunken that's going to be going down here for Hero, which he absolutely does not need.
What do you think about the Spire placement here for Hero? That's kind of interesting. I don't normally see it on the edge of creep. A lot of times, because of the shape of the Spire, it takes about the same amount of space as a Sunken Colony or a Pylon, as an example. We'll see players tuck it behind the minerals because it's just a little bit harder to get surrounded by circles. But that one's way out there. Maybe he wants that there, so it's a little bit harder to spot with an Overlord. I'm not sure.
That's the only thing that came to my mind as well, but I'm trying to imagine a situation where an Overlord runs in. I really don't know. It's a weird one.
Yeah. Okay, so Sulky's going to come in here with an attack. Now, Hero's really well positioned. He's got a nice wall of lings. He can use the drones on the side with the minerals to also block. But Sulky has to make this work. Oh, great block with the Evo Chamber.
Well, this is working out even better for Hero now. I thought he didn't need the Sunken, but Sulky's going to go ahead with the attack anyways. This is very much looking like a Hero victory right now. That is a huge, huge hold.
Yeah, he holds it. He didn't even force out more Zerglings. He banked up all the larvae. So he's going to have the 6 Mutalisks right away. More Zerglings are going to be hatched here. So it seems like Sulky's going to try one more time to come in here and do damage in between the period where the Mutalisks are being made here. But so far, the block for Hero is really good.
It really is. I don't see Sulky being able to break through that. Now, we have those Spires finished up, so we should have some Mutas on the way. The problem is Hero has that second gas just now starting to mine. So over the course of the next minute or so, he's going to get a huge gas lead.
Yeah, the Mutas are going to be able to fend this off pretty easily. And Sulky, he's in a difficult position here. It's not over yet. The problem is that Hero has 2 gases and Sulky just has 1. And so over time, there'll be a higher number of gas accumulated for Hero, which means more Mutalisks, which means basically this phase of the game what it's all about.
I'm really worried for Solky here. This definitely looks like a position that he should end up losing from. You see Hero even getting some kills on the Zergers with his Mutalisk, which is just giving him more and more of an advantage. It doesn't seem like Solky has a great way in. If he wins, it either has to be very, very soon, or he's going to have to expand, and it's somehow going to have to become a longer game.
Yeah, he's trying to take out these Overlords, but now I think Hero can hit him. Now there's no way to go down without eating a lot of damage. He's going to have to take this fight. He does snipe the Scourges down pretty nicely. But in this circular retreat, I just don't think there's going to be enough mutas. I think it's only 2 in total here. So he kills that off, and we may act... Yeah, there it is. We're going to see... I was going to say, we'll probably see him leave. Usually if they lose the Mutalist dogfight, the game is over.
Yeah, if you lose all those mutas once, unless you have a ton of spores at home, you're not going to be able to live through that, and obviously that was not the case. Hero getting the better end of build order. Sulky's build, if Hero had gone for a pool first, Sulky would have been way ahead. So it's not like his build is terrible, it's just terrible against what Hero had done there.
Yeah, funny to see them both go for hatch first right away. You know, a lot of pool openings, pool first openings have been pretty common, but Hero basically getting the better draw there as far as openings. And there's not a whole lot that Hero has to do. If he goes for fast to get his first hatchery in main, all he has to do is basically not die at the start of the game, and also make sure he doesn't get counterattacked by mutas when he sends his mutas out. And the fact that we saw Hero run up there, Sulky run up there and start 2 hits, the Overlords, I mean, then Hero just goes, all right, well, that's where I'm going to go. That's where the fight will lead me to. And he won it.
Yeah. Well, good opening here for Hero, the challenger in this finals. Of course, you can see an absolute packed stadium. Everyone wanting to come down and show their support to see who the next ASL champion will end up being. And quick commercial break.
시청자 여러분 안녕하십니까. ASL 스타를 만들다 진행을 맡은 앵커 박세입니다.
앵커 진혜입니다.
ASL 시즌 17에서 저는 생방송 정부가 결승전을 펼친다는 소식이 전해졌어요.
사실 4강엔 진짜 여러 번 이름이 올려진 유명이지만 13시간에 그때 항상 패배한 징크스가 있었던 선수인데 지난 시즌에 이거 극복하자마자 우승을 하고 그 다음에 또 결승전을 오른 김민철 선수를
맞습니다. 정말 어려운 분들을 모셨습니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 반갑습니다. 반갑습니다. 이제 김민철 선수한테 뭐 여러 가지 소감들은 좀 뻔하니까 35살에 10살 연하와 결혼하는 게 꿈이라면서요? 그리고 올해 34살이고 내년에 이제 그 꿈을 이룰 수 있는 적극적인 말씀입니다.
그런 얘기를 했는지는 기억이 안 나는데 그래도 그거는 모든
열심히 에이스 생활을 하고 우승 트로피를 들어올려야 되는 이유 중에 하나가 사랑이 있을 수 있잖아요.
일장형도 아마 그 생각할 거예요.
사랑이 있을 수 있죠. 근데 저는 사실 ASL과 사랑은 연관이 되지는 않는다고 생각을 해가지고 사랑은 따로 잘 해봐야죠. 예.
하지만 이제 김민철은 ASL과 사랑이 좀 연관이 된다. 방치 클럽들이 있잖아요. 그 중에 계실 수도 있다는 거잖아요.
아 놀이군 있죠.
아 놀이군이 있어요.
예, 놀이군은 있는데 근데 그게 쉽지가 않네요.
좀 어려워요. 우승 차지하고 트로피 받으면 앞에 온 동료 중에 마음에 든 그 바로 고백.
되게 싫어할 것 같은데요, 여성분들이. 어때요? 제가 우승을 했어요. 이영경 아나운서한테 갑자기 고백을 했어요, 거기서.
나 좋은데?
좋아요.
아니
다
2회
보는데.
우승인데
그리고 만약에
그 큰 무대에서
맞아. 근데 싫다 그러면 미안해. 내가 3번 우승하고 올게. 미안해. 내 멋있다.
근데 이런 사람들이 이제 잘못된 게 사람 바보 만드는 거예요, 이제. 저를 이제 바보 만들려고 지금 작정하셨네. 예.
직진으로 이렇게 완벽하게 뚫어내는 게 중요하다는 말씀 드리겠습니다. 그러면은 두 분이 현역 때 한 차례 만났다는 데이터가 좀 있어요. 꽤 오래됐는데 기억나세요?
저는 진짜 기억이 나는 게 그때 민철이가 좀 신인이었어요. 중요한 경기였거든요. 민철이한테 저희 다 쓸렸어요.
그래가지고 그 친구가 또
김민철 선수는 기억이 안 날 수가 없어요 그때.
아직도 기억이 제가 통화를 받거든요. 마지막에 예, 마지막에 기뉴는 이제 잡고 올킬을 했었던 기억이 있어요.
선수 시절에 친분이 좀 없었을 텐데 7년 전에 술자리 한 번 했다. 그때 서로 알아가게 됐다. 라는 스토리가 좀 있어요.
예, 현역 때는 타팀이랑 교류가 많이 없다 보니까 이제 친해질 기회가 많이 없었는데 이제 아프리카 와가지고 같이 술을 한잔 하면서 가까운 사이가 되지 않았나.
친해지면서 있긴 했어요. 일장형, 아니 사람이 진짜 일장형
또 두 선수 하면 약간 생각나는 키워드가 저는 개인적으로는 역수입이에요. 조일장 선수도 3, 4회전부터 진짜 면적이었거든요. 김민철 선수도 역수입하면 또 빼놓을 수 없는 선수고 그때 두 선수만의 약간 그 심리 컨트롤 하는 방법이 또 다를 것 같아요.
솔직히 멘탈이 나가요. 더 이상은 약간 물러갈 곳이 없다. 한판 따다 보니까 이게 그렇게 되는 거죠.
이번 세트만 이기면 된다라는 생각으로 한 경기만 이기면 딱 역습할 수 있다는 생각을 항상 가지고 있거든요. 게임을 할 때. 항상 겨루고 나서 이제 끝났을 때 이렇게 잘할까? 이런 생각.
선수 철벽이 만들어지는 과정이 항상 절벽 끝에 서야 돼. 이 절벽에서 낭떠러지네.
그래야지만 살아남을 수 있어.
아, 근데 결승전 때는 좀 안 그랬으면 좋겠어요.
또 이제 초창기 때 조일장 선수가 이제 아프리카에서 좀 원탑이더라고요. 굉장히 잘한다는 그런 친구들이 굉장히 많았습니다만 시간이 지나고 우승 트로피는 예선까지 갔어요.
습관을 갖고 민철이 멋있더라고요. 하도 해주고 그랬었는데 동생 입장에 좀 양보해주지 않을까 싶기도 하고. 네.
김민철 선수 표정 보니까 뭐 형이랑 동생 없는 것 같은데?
성격이 진짜 굉장한 선수거든요, 김민철 선수가. 프로게이머 시작한 계기도 약간 같은 반 친구한테
맞아요.
져서 열받아서 시작했다고 들었거든요.
중학생 때였는데 제가 못 이기는 상대가 있었어요. 이기고 싶어가지고 계속 게임을 하다가 이겼어요. 근데 중2 때 또 못 이기는 상대가 있어요. 그래서 또 연습을 해서 이겼어요. 저는 계속 극복하는 거를 약간 좋아하나 봐요. 약간.
그래서 맞으면 맞을수록 정말 강해진 선수고요. 악재가 나오고요. 흔들리고 풍파에 뭔가 폭삭 망하면요. 정말 불굴의 투지로 일어나는 선수 김민철입니다. 조일장 선수와는 느낌이 달라요. 원체 좀 강한 느낌이라면 이 스포츠계 약간 잡초 같은 느낌?
진짜 야생에서
뭔가 진짜 약간
살아남는
그 느낌이에요.
저도 민철이 게임 보면 항상 느껴요. 얘는 결국은 죽여야 된다. 안 죽이면 살아난다.
네.
저그 느낌 많이 받거든요. 민철이 게임 보면서.
그럼 김민철 선수가 보기에 조일장 선수는 좀 어떤 저거예요?
저그의 교과서 같은 느낌이거든요. 그래서 그 교과서를 찢어야 돼요. 낙서를 하고 찢고 막 그래야 돼요.
주입식 교육이다. 교과서는 뻔하다. 그냥 써진 대로만 한다. 창의적, 요즘 창의 교육이 대세인데.
그런 느낌은 아니고.
창의력이 없다. 빌드 못 짠다.
그래서 이번에 한 명을 섭외했습니다. 브레인저그라고. 네, 한 명을.
명훈이 형이랑 이제 유난이 형이 있었는데 제가 저저전으로 되게 많이 떨어졌었잖아요. 근데 극복하게 만들어진 계기가 명훈이 형이 약간 연습을 도와주면. 그래서 약간 전 그 기억에 명훈이 형을 놓치고 싶지가 않았더라고요.
제가 또 명훈이 형을 저저전 최강자에서 내려보냈던 사람이거든요. 오히려 뭐 잘 된 게 아닌가. 네.
그렇죠. 그럼 오늘 인터뷰의 좀 핵심은요. 김명훈입니다.
그렇습니다.
김명훈의 운명이 어떻게 될지는 여러분들 이제 결승전에서 만나볼 수 있는 거고.
저저전 결승인 만큼
빌드 싸움이죠.
굉장히 재밌게 가위바위보 7판을 좀 해보면 어떨까요?
가위바위보 7판에서 4판 누가 먼저 이기냐. 이건 제 빌드 싸움이라 생각하고요. 심리전 상대가 어떤 빌드 할지 여기서 이제 4드론, 5드론, 9드론 막 이런 식으로 생각하면서 여러분 생각하시는 거예요.
밤 내기.
밤 내기? 오케이, 밤 내기 가자.
가위바위보. 자, 이때요. 이때요.
역시 처음에 맞고 시작하는 김민철.
가위바위보.
이래요. 또 맞고 시작하는 김민철.
가위바위보. 야, 이거 진짜 역습이다. 진짜 역습이다.
찰떡입니다, 찰떡이.
찰떡이네. 쉽지 않은데. 자, 준비되고. 가위바위보. 와!
역시 3대1.
3번만 이기면 돼요.
네.
가위바위보. 오. 가위바위보. 오. 가위바위보. 오. 자, 가위바위보.
빌드가 계속 물려요, 지금.
가위바위보. 와, 뭐야? 가위바위보. 가위바위보. 칠박. 자, 준비해서 마지막 끄는 파이널 하겠습니다. 가위바위보. 와, 이번에는 이게 역습이 깨졌습니다. 와, 자,
흥미진진한.
근데 이거 진짜 재밌었다.
끝으로 좀 어떤 결과가 좀 나왔으면 좋겠다라고 한번 해주시기 바라겠습니다. 조일장 선수.
너무 빨리 끝나지만 않았으면 좋겠어요. 저도 준비한 거 좀 잘 보여주고 잘 치고 받는 경기가 나왔으면 좋겠고 우승은 또 제가 할 수 있었으면 좋겠네요.
저도 근데 같은 생각이에요. 좀 재밌는 게임이 나왔으면 좋겠고 좋은 경기 했으면 좋겠어요. 저는.
오늘 스타를 만나다 투스타를 만났습니다. 어떤 결과가 기다리고 있을지 여러분 함께 지켜봐 주시기 바랍니다. 미니 앵커와 함께했습니다. 여러분 고맙습니다.
고맙습니다.
If we had to broadly categorize how they both just played, Sulky's build was very safe, and Hero's build was very greedy. Are they going to stay on similar paths, or are we going to see them all over the place as far as the build order choices?
We're going to be going to Neo-Dark Origin here for map number 2. Maps that only have 2 spawns do change the dynamic of ZVZ. There's a couple of tricky moves you can do that just wouldn't be possible on maps where there were 3 or even 4 spawns here. So let's see if we have any deceptive play coming up here as we go into this next match here. Hero up 1 game, excuse me. Sulky yet to get a win here. But, you know, in a best of 7, it's really important that you don't let them get too far ahead of you. You know, it's you know, you can get to 2 to 3 wins very quickly. We're ready to get into this game, guys. This is game number 2 in this best of 7, the ASL Finals here with Hero versus Sulky. Okay, Hero in the bottom, Sulky in the top. So I was talking earlier about the fact that there are tricky plays you can do on maps like this. You can basically map out their Overlord scouting path and occasionally send out false information to that. So as an example, you could send you know, just 2 Zerglings underneath the Overlord when in fact there are 4 more Zerglings going around it. And moments like that, players may decide that they can drone up more than they can and then get punished. I don't know if we're going to have it this game, but I definitely want to make sure everybody's at least aware that stuff like that is a possibility.
Yeah, that's kind of another thing that feels different about Zerg vs. Zerg compared to the other matchups, is that it seems to me that the more creative, interesting games are generally on 2-player maps, because there's no randomness, right, as to when or where the Overlord will scout. You have a very, very exacting idea of where it's going and where it will be at what time, and thus, like you said, right, you can feed it information or misinformation as you choose. But yeah, I feel like a lot of our more interesting games are on these smaller maps. So hoping that we get to see that here. It is going to be a quick pull from Hero. What's Sulky going to do? Is he going to try to go hatch first?
Yeah, it looks like it, Artosis, unless we have a delayed gas and pool here. And I don't see that pull coming down just yet. He's surpassed 200. Oh, okay. I was going to say he's past 200 minerals, so he's but his pool is just a little bit late. By the way, a little subtle thing. For those of you who have been watching for a long time, you still may not know about this trick. There's a way to make your larva shoot over to the left side of the hatchery. And how do you do that? Do you grab an Overlord and the larva and spam S? Is that how it's done? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you only have to hit it like 1 time, and then the larva, any larva that were selected with another unit given stop command, always go to the left side of the hatchery right away.
So if you have minerals to your left side, you always want to do that. So just something to take note of. And in case you're wondering, wouldn't that mean it's a little bit better to be on the left side? Yeah.
Well,
it's a little bit better for sure.
You definitely get your drones to spawn over there, but the mineral boosting is actually better on the right side minerals. So I don't know where that comes as far as quality for Zerg. Yeah, like if you're playing Terran, for instance, you mine a little tiny bit more with perfect boosting on the right compared to perfect boosting on the left.
Oh, funny. And in case you guys are confused about mineral boosting, there's a way with certain patches where you can like either make them return a little bit quicker by giving them a command to return that mineral. Sometimes they'll arc out. Hold on a second. We got a big attack coming up here. It's now 6-lings versus 6-lings. A drone in the mix actually does add a little bit of extra damage. It's funny how much that helps because the drone can fire through the Zerglings, so it can even be in the back and still deal some.
It is kind of funny that the drone has bigger range than a lot of units, but it comes down, helps out, and Sulky actually gets the advantage. One thing to mention is that if you look at this again, Hero went for an aggressive opener, right? If we're talking about broad strokes of what we're looking at. And once again, 2nd time in a row, Sulky goes for a safe opener with that pool before the hatchery. So I feel like actually Hero's idea wasn't bad. He says, okay, well, I went greedy and he went safe and I won, so let's go aggressive. And if he goes aggressive or greedy, I'm not equal or ahead. Only against another safe opener is Hero behind. But now that we look at this, Hero is behind in this game.
Yeah, he's got his lings at the ramp. You can see he's carefully making a wall here. It's really important you have that ling wall perfectly set up in a way where it's just a little bit too tough for Sulky to try to get up here, and he's racing towards getting Mutalisks. Now, the Spire is started here for Sulky. The issue is he's not going to have Mutas out before a hero.
And Sulky is actually hiding a few lanes behind. He moved a few lanes out of vision. And now Hero's going to see that as he starts to come forward with all of them. And Sulky actually does slip out a little bit. Oh my gosh. A really good surface area there from Sulky, though. Hero having a hard time coming down this ramp.
Yeah, it looked like Hero had it for a minute, but the pairing wasn't quite there. And so these Zerglings on the bottom are basically meant to keep these, you know, Hero Zerglings stuck in there. Spire's coming along. Now, ideally, what Sulky wanted was to force some of those larvae into Zergling eggs instead of Mutas eggs. But Hero didn't blink, so the Mutas are going to be out momentarily. But it's the distance between the Spire completion times should actually allow Sulky to get his Mutas out just in the nick of time for from Heroes.
I believe you're right about that. We'll see if any Overlords get picked off. Those have started to migrate away from Mutalisk paths, so not sure if any of those will get caught. And here Hero comes. He's bringing out those Mutalisks immediately, and he definitely needs to get some sort of damage done, because if he doesn't, Sulky's just going to run away with this game with that second gas.
So, you know, keep in mind it's speedlings versus slowlings. That's why Hero was able to run through the way that it was. Hero didn't opt to beeline into Sulky's base. Instead, he's trying to sweep the map for Overlord. He's trying to get free kills, and I think Hero probably made the right call with that. It's going to be too hard to get in there and get damage. But I don't think he found a single Overlord. I see one of Sulky's Overlords way in the top right, and the other one far in the left.
Smart places to move them, right? You want them out of position so your opponent doesn't get them. It's really hard to move your Mutalisks into an area like that because of the possibility of counterattacks. Now, Hero is coming up. He is going to go for the throat, and I think he needs to. He needs to get something done here. He's going to try to run some speedlings by, but Sulky beautifully blocking the ramp, utilizes his Mutalisks to kill off those Zerglings, and Hero has to retreat. This is looking terrible for Hero.
Yeah, Hero's running out of time right now. That second gas is being mined here. 3 drones on it. And, you know, it's a game where the Overlord's being gone. The map is a dark and confusing place. It's really not clear who is where. Sulky knows as time passes, he will accumulate more Mutalisks, and that will ultimately allow him to win the fight. Hero's going to stay back, but Hero needs to hatch some kind of a plan. I don't know if he's banking on maybe getting either air attack or air armor upgraded. In case you're wondering, armor is usually better than attack, and that it lets Muta versus Muta, you'll win. If one guy got attacked, the other guy got armor. But sometimes attack being a little bit cheaper is a smarter move.
Yeah, it can be. I don't know if either of them are going for an upgrade yet. It feels like they're still like on kind of the edge of your seat, really going for aggression. Now we have the Mutalisks coming up. I did hear some Scourge end up hitting there. I think Hero might have ended up using one, definitely one gun hit, and is really, really low on health.
So there's some more Scourge out here. Sulky's being very patient. He doesn't have to do anything until Hero tries to expand, but sometimes these fights sort of, you know, form in their own ways. Hero's trying to stay out on the map. Keep in mind, if, you know, Sulky were to try to move across the map fully, there's maybe ways the Hero could try to run around and kill drones. The problem is this map is so narrow, it would probably also allow Sulky to box Hero into a corner and then try to crush him with a Scourge.
And in fact, look at that crazy Scourge down here from Sulky. Sulky coming up. That extra gas has mostly been turned into Scourge. He's doing some moving shots here. Hero trying his best to micro, but you can see his Mutas get absolutely dominated. GG is called. Sulky going to take game number 2.
2 games that ended in basically the same way. The player who was aggressive wasn't able to make anything work. The more patient player who stayed back and tried to farm out the gas from the second base got, you know, the better air army and was able to take the game.
Yeah, if you look at, you know, the rock, paper, scissors that exist that they were making a joke about during the commercial break, it's aggression versus greed. Like, right, aggression beats greed beats safety, and safety beats aggression. And we've seen that actually completed twice now. In Game 1, Hero's greed beating Sulky's safety. In Game 2, Sulky's safety beating Hero's aggression. Now, that's 2 safety games in a row for Sulky. Is he going to stay on this path? This is kind of where the really interesting mind games continue to develop.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, Hero going with that super quick 9 pull, trying to get in there and get that damage done. But yeah, very patient. Sulky just stays back and gets that gas. You know, with the gas, obviously you get a higher meter count, but it's the Scourge that allow you to leverage the position, because they have to try to gun down your Scourge while you're still dishing out shots from your own Mutalisks onto theirs. If they don't, the Scourge are going to connect like they did in that last game, and everything's going to die.
Yeah. So, you know, a couple of pretty quick games. It is Zerg for Zerg, so kind of expected. I love this old picture of Hero. Damn, he was a looker. But yeah, let's see. Looking at these 2 games, I don't feel like one player is really outdoing the others. What I want to see is who is going to be able to take a disadvantaged position and push that into a victory.
We haven't really gotten past mid game. It's the Mutalisk climax ending the game every single time, but I would imagine as we have a couple more games here, we are going to have something that gets a little bit further along here in CVZ. We're going to be going to Apocalypse now for map number 3.
All right, so Apocalypse, it will be the 3-player map. We're going to see who's going to take the advantage. Let's do it too. So let's get into game 3 and see what are these guys going to open up with.
Guys, game 3 is starting now here. Hero versus Sulky, tied up 1-1. Let's see who takes that lead here as the ASL Season 17 Finals continues on. Okay, Hero in the lower left side of the map here. Sulky up at the top center. The Overlord scouting paths, it will be Sulky who's actually going to be going in the wrong direction, Hero in the correct direction.
Yeah, so that in and of itself pretty good for Hero, but you know, that doesn't really explain everything that we're going to be looking at. It really does come down so much to what their openers will be.
Yeah, you're really trying to, whenever you make the decision of where to send the Overlord, it's basically whatever could give you vision the earliest if they were there. In this case, they go towards the naturals. So, yeah, I mean, let's see if we get a game that is going to be one guy being the aggressor and the other guy not. It's funny because in game 1, they did both go for hatchery first, but hatchery in main does mean it is a type of an aggressive play. It's very focused on one base. Whereas, you know, a hatchery expansion truly is actually you being focused on greed. You can see the larva, by the way, sliding to the left there on Hero's screen a second ago. Making sure he gets those to spawn as close to the minerals as possible.
Yeah, and that is, once again, a pool first here for Hero. I like Hero's approach, honestly, more than I like Sulky's approach so far, but Sulky does go for the safety approach again. So this is looking like the same build orders that we saw in Neo Dark Origin. It's going to be the 9 pool with gas versus Sulky going for the pool first, but this will allow him to get a secondary hatchery. And we'll see if that's going to be at the natural. Of course, just having a second hatchery is going to put him at a slight advantage here with this safety build.
This map doesn't give you a low ground to high ground ramp into your main like the previous map did, which matters quite a bit in this matchup, because if you have a fairly large opening at the entrance, Zerglings become a lot more powerful. When you have these tiny little bottleneck ramps, suddenly you can defend with a lot less.
Yeah, it's really hard to attack up a ramp because it's actually very, very thin. Like, if you look at the graphics of it, it's slightly smaller than the graphics that you see because the edges are, like, kind of weird and wonky to get through. So, definitely those ramps help significantly, even though it's not a high ground or slow ground attacker's advantage. You never see that in CDC, really. It's such a thin line in there, it's, like, almost impossible to set up. But yeah, you know, just having that as a defensive choke is important. Now, Sulky goes for this secondary hatchery at his natural. Hero, once again, is in a position where he has to get some sort of aggression done.
So, more links are going to be cranked out here. Layers on the way. I'm sorry, is it just 2 in gas over there for Hero? Am I saying that correct?
I believe
2 in gas
for
on both sides, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zergs have it so mapped out, man. How many resources that they really can get. You know, they know exactly which patches to put their drones on as well. And look at this from Sulky. I really like this kind of line that he has. And in fact, 3 drones coming down as well. Maybe combining needing help on that defense. And Hero gonna start attacking the hatch.
Yeah, he's starting to chisel away at the hip points on that hatchery. It doesn't seem like Sulky can find a good angle. Hero's continuing to do a really good split. He's got the 4 lings that are doing damage. This hatchery almost at half HP, Artosis.
Sulky's going to have to jump on this. I think he's trying to wait for his eggs to finish. Doesn't drill with the drones there. More lings are hatching, and he will force Hero back. Hero has speed. Looks like Sulky as well. But don't forget, Sulky has more larvae. So now that that hatchery is up, he can simply make more lings than Hero.
That's right. He narrowly saved the hatchery. If the hatchery goes down, basically the game is done. The layer is slowly chugging along here. No Spire tech just yet. Meanwhile, over here for Hero, his Spire's halfway done. So Mutalisks are going to be inbound here pretty soon. That Spire does start here for Sulky. Doesn't seem like Sulky has that much gas banked either. I guess because he only does have 2 in there. So it's going to be a little bit of a tricky mid-game here.
Yeah, Sulky really has 2 options right now. Number 1 is flood Zerglings and force Hero to be on the defensive until Sulky's Spire finishes. Number 2 is to get spores, right? Like those are basically the 2 big options here for Sulky. We're going to see in a moment what it is that he's going to end up choosing. Does he flood those lings? Does he try to get an early victory here? It looks like 4 lings running back, and no, I guess he is going to do a little bit of a runaround here. Hero sending 4 lings towards Sulky's main.
Sulky knows that if mutas are going to be inbound here, there's probably going to be not as many Zerglings. So he's got a sunken colony really well placed in between the spawning pool, the Spire, and the hatchery. The lings are going to come in here. He needs to get as many kills as possible. Anything is worth it. Drones, lings, you name it. If he can get it, it's going to be good. He's already taken out 2 drones now. He dives onto the sunken colony. Oh my god!
Oh man. Very bad situation here for Hero, and he's going to GG. Sulky picks up another map win, and another map win playing the defensive strategy. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So he actually going to counterattack with his own. Hero was hitting Sulky as well, but it was not that much to snowball the game. Eventually, he fended off those Zerglings. And, you know, one of the problems with Sunk Colony, it's a strength, but it's also a weakness, is that you put a Sunk there, you can drill and you can punish lings, but it may keep the Sunken Colony safe, but if the control from the attacker is good enough, you will kill all the drones, and it kind of defeats the purpose. But I think it was probably the best of all possible moves for him to do, to go for the Sunken Colony, try to hold out for a little bit longer. Yeah, great play there from Sulky to identify that, okay, this is probably not going to be a comfortable layer technically for me. Let me actually take what was Hero's advantage, you know, having a ling speed there, and we make that a disadvantage by trying to flood him. It's going to tank it.
I got to tell you, I'm looking at this right now. This is 3 safety openers in a row for Sulky. At some point, are we going to see Hero switch on to more greed? He won his 1 greed game, 2 aggressive games in a row didn't work, but Sulky's basically done very similar things each game. I wonder if Sulky switches it up into a 9 pool next to try to counter Hero countering what Sulky has done 3 games in a row.
It is funny that this has been a theme here, right? We're seeing like you know, a lot of different types of openings, but it's always the same result. Anyways, Artosis, I think we're going to be hopping to a break in a second here.
It's like brick scissors, right? Like maybe 9 pool is rock, and it has a slightly higher chance of coming back in bad situations because you have that aggressive option. But yeah, I don't think that Hero or Sulky are like super heavy 9 poolers, but obviously something that you have to be able to mix in.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how packed this is, by the way, for the ZVZ. I mean, this is a full theater. I mean, you can see there's no chairs stacked in the back. There's, you know, they're not waiting for more people to fill in. So, I mean, no matter what the matchup, man, ASL finals just sell out.
Oh
And
my God.
I got my fingers crossed that we get into a little bit of a more technical Muta versus Muta game.
Yeah.
There's a period where it ramps up, and usually one player kills the other. Then it dramatically slows down. You have both players on 2 bases. They're continuing to accumulate. It's going to come down to, okay, is there going to be some kind of an upgrade timing? Are we going to get a 3rd base here? Is there a possibility of the weird tech that comes as the 2 sides are just in this arms race for Mutalisks? Something like Queens with Ensnare, something like even Defilers with Plague on the Mutas. And then will we have that kind of glorious tech out of that we've seen here before in AFL?
Yeah, it's certainly very rare, but I mean, these 2 players are one that could produce a game like that. I have my fingers crossed. Like, that's definitely one of my favorite games of the last few years, was that action versus effort game, right? Where they did get up into Ultras and Defilers and just all the other tech. It's such a rare situation, and the only 2 times since Remaster that I've seen it, both had action involved, so I don't know. I hope these 2 can do it.
All right, we're going to go to the map Retro here for game number 4. Keep in mind the rush distances are extremely close. We could end up with a game where both players end up going for pool first here, whittling speed. Let's find out if that's going to be the case as game 4 has loaded up. And the what is that? The flames are on the stage. Artosis, it means it's game time.
All right.
What are those things called?
Flames.
The thing that shoots it. Is there a term for that? The pyrotechnics are going. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. We've got Hero here in the bottom left. We've got Sulky in the top right. So it's going to be a cross-spawn game. Before we get too far along in this, guys, we just want to do a quick plug here for our Patreon. It's patreon.com/ASL English. We wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. There was a period, this was years ago, Africa TV decided they didn't want to invest in the English broadcast. We used to do this in the studio. It was a really sad day for us.
Yeah.
I remember us, you and me, I think we ended up going to a bar and then commiserating. After we found out the news, we were so bummed out. And then we thought, well, maybe there's a way that we could still do it and just have it be community driven. And we've done it. And now because of you guys, we're able to keep doing it. I think with every season that's come out here of ASL, we've made improvements. It wasn't, a natural process for us to produce this on our own and to figure out the best way to do it. But now we get these recordings out to you within a day or 2 of the actual ASL days happening. And so if you want to support us in our endeavor to bring or to keep the history of StarCraft esports alive, the oldest, the original, the best esport, you can do that by going to the Patreon.
Yeah, that's patreon.com/ASL English, and thank you again so much, guys. And by the way, the one thing that we've really found out over the few years of doing this at this point is that you guys want these out as quickly as possible, and that's why this episode is like this. The finals actually got moved over a family vacation, so I'm recording from a hotel room, which is why it might sound just slightly different, and you don't see us on camera today. Sorry about that. But it is what it is, and we hope that you guys do enjoy this coming out a bit quicker rather than a few days later with slightly better audio and camera.
Yeah, we've also made some adjustments to focus on speed and not over-edit things. We were getting, the graphics translated into English, but it turns out vast majority of you guys just want these games out quickly with the commentary on top of it, and so that's what we're doing. So again, guys, we appreciate the support. Consider signing up for a year. We love you. Now, into this game, we have both sides with mirrored builds here. I was kind of waiting for this to happen. I thought this could be the map where we'd actually have 9-pool speedling on both sides. But instead it's going to be hatch right away. And so this is most likely to be a long game because there's not the imbalance of one side taking the game in a very specific direction, and the other side maybe being able to exploit or punish or take advantage of that somehow.
Yeah, this is kind of exciting. Just the fact that it's cross-spawn, and they've both gone for, like, the more greedy builds. And you can see, if you just look at the top right, you can see, like, their minerals are lined up, their supplies are lined up, their gas is lined up within 8 gas, right? So no one has any sort of edge. And since it's completely mirrored like this, but not in an aggressive way, this gives us more opportunities for the game to get weird. Now, my guess is that this will probably turn into just like a pure, you know, Mutalisk, mass Mutalisk type of game where someone's going to make a misstep and the other guy's going to jump on him, but there's always a chance, Tasteless, that this turns into something more.
Yeah, fingers crossed here that we're going to get you know, a pretty drawn-out game. Notice that the Lings are going to be wrapping around the map, by the way. He's got 4 moving out here. So he wants this scouting zone
All right, I'm back. Had to go eat.
Zergling that Sulky has to come in and see. That is what? Is that 7? Is that 6? 7's a weird number to show, but he's got 4 hidden down there.
What we're gonna do is we are going to
So the issue is,
do one more run
want
at
him
least.
to have the wrong read on what you've got. Now, sending 4 of those lings out, and the rest of the lings are going to follow suit. The layers are done, so the spires can start. But Hero seems to think he's got an opportunity to maybe crack Sulky open here.
Yeah, if you make too many drones, that is a situation that can occur, right? The lings get across the map so quickly, but Sulky has made a lot of Zerglings himself. As Hero gets up there, he realizes, oh gosh, like this might not end up working, right? Oh my god, Sulky with a counterattack of 1 Zergling against a drone. That's kind of a big moment.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. Getting that drone kill right now, Hero's really going to be feeling that. We were talking about this before the show, but in case you skipped through that, I mean, ZVZ, every unit has almost a Warcraft 3 level amount of importance on it because you just don't get that many units. So losing a few extra lings, dropping a drone is huge. By the way, the Zergling count is just continuing to build up here. We have more Zerglings hatching here for Hero. Spires are coming along. Is there a possibility Hero's going to try to attack back in?
Well, he's brought his lings home to basically chase around this 1 Zergling, which does have a kill, and actually put a lot of damage on 1 drone. You can see Sulky microing it like crazy, trying to slip it through and find a way. And look at this, a huge Zergling counterattack is coming down. Hero's going to have to pull the lings out of his main base to deal with this. So I don't know if he ended up getting Sulky's Zergling or not, but that might still be in there.
Okay, he's going to come over here. He's going to go right up to where the hatchery is. There's a lot of lings here. The spread from Hero looks really healthy. I don't know that Sulky can attack
Warriors
in here.
the best again.
He's going to go for it anyways. He's going to try to come through and break this. There's more and more lings streaming in here right now for Sulky. Hero doing his best to hang on. They're getting a little bit separated right now. More lings are going to hatch out. The drones have now been pulled. Was this too late, though?
This looks like Hero's in a lot of trouble. Like, Sulky just has a few more Zerglings. He did end up taking that battle pretty decisively, and now going after the hatchery. This is going to force Hero down the ramp. If you lose this hatchery, you lose the game. So, Muta's popping out. This is his opportunity. It looks like he will end up losing the hatchery regardless, but maybe because he's killing off all these lings with his Mutas, he can still get something done.
So it's now 1 hatchery versus 2 hatcheries here. The lings are going to come in. They're going to try to kill some workers. Sulky also has his own Mutalisks out. He doesn't have his gas, by the way. You can see Hero made his gas at his natural. Sulky didn't. So it's not like there's a gas advantage right now, even though there's a base where a second gas could be mined.
Well, this is kind of a crazy game. Definitely Sulky has that big edge. He's up by 4 supply right now. Hero just starts the hatchery. I think he realizes that, you know, there's no way Sulky has more gas in him necessarily, so their Mutalisk counts should be similar. So sitting at home with his Mutas in a more defensive stance is something and should, in fact, be something that Hero can do right now and maybe fight this back to even.
The restorative potion is
Now let's see if he
sick.
can pull it off. The extractor's done at that second base. We saw 3 drones pulled away immediately to start to soak up that extra gas. Look, Hero's up against the ropes right now. Doesn't have any map vision. Obviously, Sulky doesn't either, but he knows he's behind. Doesn't know if Muta's... Like, the danger for Hero right now is if he's to leave his base, there's always a chance Sulky could come in from a certain angle and just kill all of his workers.
Yeah.
The drones are now mining. I would imagine there's an upgrade being made here inside the Spire for Sulky. I don't know if Hero has quite enough. Might go for an attack and or just armor upgrade and try to take a fight there, but there are not a lot of opportunities here right now for Hero.
There really are not, and I like how Sulky's doing this, right? Like, he's built up a good amount of Mutas. Hero's ready to mine that gas immediately, but I think we're going to see more Scourge probably fly over here for Sulky, and that's going to be really hard to deal with. Going after this Overlord immediately, Hero still having to sit back defensively. He's now supply blocked, making his problems even worse.
Yeah, and these Overlords on the outside, he could basically try to draw Hero into a fight. Oh my god, he lost another drone.
Dude, Sulky is so dialed in right now, just really at a huge advantage, and I think he's going to be able to finish Hero off. Comes in, the Scourge mostly die. Sulky doing some moving shots onto Hero's mutas. Hero does have a lot of mutas, but I think Sulky is up slightly.
I think this game's about to end here. The Scourge should be connecting on those shots. Only 4 mutas left now, 2, soon to be 0. GG. Sulky takes down another game.
Wow, Sulky taking a 3-1 advantage right now. Definitely that game, Sulky made a statement with, right? But all 3 other games were decided by who had the better opening build order against their opponent. This game was even, and Sulky utilized some tactics, some mind games, some good micro and decision making, and was able to pull it out.
Good call with the mass slings, you know?
Yeah.
It looked like initially the fight wasn't going to pay off, but eventually he just came in there. Hero tried to hang on and basically let the mutas save the day. He also didn't pull the drones right away. He had 3 drones mining minerals. I think I'm not saying he would have held that, but it certainly would have helped in that flood of lings that was coming in that ultimately wiped out his hatchery. It's funny because, you know, it's not easy to know, should I go for the hatchery or should I try to run into the main and kill workers? And the fact that we saw Sulky split, I think it was 4 Zerglings on the hatchery, everything else trying to dig an entrance to up the ramp and into the main, and he kind of won on both fronts. Really impressive.
Yeah, he just made a few more lings there. You saw that Hero was trying to get that gas way quicker. It feels after watching that game that Sulky is just dialed in a little bit more, like a little bit better with the decision making. Hero maybe getting a little bit too greedy that game. And now we're on match point. The defending champion so close to his 2nd ASL title in a row.
I think we're going to be hopping into this game too. I'm under the impression production basically does commercial breaks after games in pairs here. So, you know, we got to see if Hero can kind of pull it together. No games where the Mutalisk build up, you know. Oh, never mind. We'll be right back.
각도로 말할게. 이 바퀴 내 무게가 다 강하니까. 하루만 네 의자에 메시가 되고 싶어. 알고 싶어 너의 커스텀 값. 만들어봐. 네 의자에 꿀려. I don't have a target.
Still.
nothing. I ain't bothered, not a problem. Haters hate, another day and dollar. Keep your money ready, have you pay the homage. Delay the profit, we go freeway on it. Yeah, the real one, not the copper. If you need reminded, holla at your Siri, ask who I'm. You can find him on the app. Yeah, they call me Peaky Blinders. You bet your bottom dollar, I'm a classic. 64 Impala, me, I bet the plug. Plead the fifth when the name of your partner. Real legend never die. Still with the business, you should cry, let it lie. Side 4 and 9, that's Korea suicide. Tell them one time, forever in my prime. They remember my name. Yeah. That's still majority. I can't cancel it. That's better. Isn't better. I can't cancel it. That's still majority. Remember my name. We ain't not the same. No. Real since day one and I ain't gonna change. So remember my name. Yeah. Now I was born of the fire. Sworn to a higher code, get light 'em up, lit, bit out the entire goal. We gon' level up, corner office the entire flow. With the B of air wheels, I ain't do anything on a lighter note. Yeah, hit on brass tacks, fact is kinda dope. Serving people like the corner stove. You could call me butter, kinda feel like I've been on a roll.
We are back. We're watching this cameraman slowly creep around this trophy. Look, I'm looking at the eyes of the killer, man. I just want to see his hand come up and grab that trophy and steal it. Look, man, I got my fingers crossed that this is going to be a comeback, or it's going to be a pretty underwhelming finals here, Artosis. I mean, right now, Hero just can't make anything work.
It is true. Sulky is definitely dominating at the moment, although, you know, there's a little bit of luck involved with choices. So right now, as far as like completely even openers, Sulky has won the only game like that. And now either Hero's going to have to start getting like pretty lucky, or this is going to have to just turn into a bunch of more even games that Hero outplays Sulky on. And I don't see that happening for like the reverse sweep type situation.
It is funny how easy Sulky makes this look. You know, it seems like he just seems to have a read on the decisions. Oh, thank you so much. Welcome, man, from Argentina.
Nice.
That's got to be a long flight to get all the way to Korea.
Oh, his arms must be tired.
Oh, Artosis, all the original jokes tonight. I think you actually, there are no direct flights from Asia to South America.
Is
so
that
it's like
right?
a real pain to get. Yeah.
Can that be
I think
true?
You have to go through.
Huh.
It can be true. Yeah. And I think there's no direct flights from Asia to Africa.
From Asia to Africa, there's definitely direct flights from Asia to Africa. Maybe not from Korea.
No.
Asia's pretty big, buddy.
Korea,
like
right.
you could. There's definitely a flight from Dubai to Africa.
That's a sick Artosis. Asia's pretty big. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I think from Asia to South America, I think there's not direct flights. I think you got to go through North America.
Wow.
I think. Anyways, that was my little flex, my airport knowledge flex.
Well, I know that there's no direct internet cables from Asia to South America. I know that from playing against Peruvians from Korea.
Well, that's why. See, I've got the skies covered and you've got the seas covered. That's why we work together. Wow. All right, guys, we're gonna go into this next game. Look, man, Sulky might take it, but if he does it, it means Hero's gonna start that comeback. Okay, Sulky here in the bottom left, and Hero in the top right. Cross spawns again. As this series continues on, I mean, Sulky just looking poised to take this right now. As he's had, you know, honestly, from what my expectations were coming into this, I would say a surprisingly straightforward and easy series so far.
It does look that way, doesn't it? Yeah, it kind of does. It doesn't feel like anything was hard fought for Sulky. He got 3 pretty easy victories, and then the one outplay by, I think he actually had 4 more Zerglings at the start of that, if I'm not mistaken, in that previous game. So like that one looked pretty easy for him as well. Maybe that's just the master making it look easy. But I don't know. I still have some faith that Hero can bring this a bit closer, right? Like you know, ZVZ is a bit unforgiving and all that. Look at this. Oh, Sulky is going to go for his first aggressive open.
Yeah. Going for that spawning pool on 9. And, you know, it's funny. This is very in line with how Sulky wins. He does seem to make it look easier than almost any other player in the ASL.
Yeah.
The only other person that comes to mind for that was Flash. There were some games where you're just watching Flash and like, God, he's like so ahead already. Like he's already made enough small decisions or picked up on a few patterns, and he's like, you know, leagues ahead.
Yeah.
But Sulky, it's kind of the same thing. Even in this matchup that's generally considered pretty tight, he seems to have near perfect reads on, you know, if he's going to get all in, he needs to hold it, or if it's his turn to, you know, lock in with mass lings and try to flood. And it's basically working every time. The only time it didn't pay off was a near build order loss in game 1, where it was, you know, hatch first at expansion versus hatch first in main.
Yeah. So, you know, looking at this game with the aggressive build from Sulky and the more defensive build from Hero, this is like a reverse of games 2 and 3. So absolutely, Hero has that big edge. We'll see what Sulky's able to do. If Sulky wins it, well, I mean, if he wins this game, he's a champion. But like, if he wins this game, like the amount that he is stronger than Hero's EVZ right now can't be understated, right? Like that would be amazing. And
No, it's so funny.
Yeah.
It would just, you know, sorry, I didn't mean to run over you there, Artos. It's so funny because I think everybody was in agreement that, like, no one knew who was going to take this. And as we see these games unfold, it's like, gosh, Sulky seems to have near perfect ZVZ. In a matchup that we always thought of this as his Achilles heel, he clearly put the time in. He's clearly studied his opponent. And so here we are.
Well, we'll see if that ends up working out for him or not, right? He's actually dodged. Oh, did Hero see that? I'm not entirely sure. He did see 2 more lings coming up. So he ran around the lings of Hero there. I think he's trying to hide the fact that he's doing a little bit of an attack. Hero immediately bringing 2 drones, bringing 2 more lings out as well. Let's see if he has enough to hold on to his hatch.
Okay, he's got the 2 drones. The targeting is happening on that side of the hatchery. There's just not quite enough. Remember, speedlings feed slowlings, so it's very tough for Hero in this situation. But if he can just hang on, if he can buy a little bit more time, he could be okay.
Yeah, I think Hero's going to be able to hold this, honestly. Like, more lings are coming up for Sulky. He just had, well, hold on. He actually started to route those lings a little bit, but a few more pop out for Hero. And, of course, it's a much further rally distance here for Sulky, so a bit hard. Hero sneaks in with 1 circling like we saw Sulky do earlier. Let's see if he can get a drone going.
Yeah, the 2 drones are out there. They stayed alive. More lings are going to come up here. And it does seem like as every second passes, Hero's becoming safer and safer in this game. The Spire started here for Sulky, but again, it's 1 base versus 2 base. It looks like the layer is moments away from finishing here for Hero. We see he's already set a drone aside to make the Spire. You can see that started now.
Yeah, Hero does continue to hold on to everything. It looks like he has a few more lings at the moment. Going to chase Sulky back across the map right now. And yeah, it's kind of like we were talking about before, right? Like right now, Hero can either flood lings or he can go spores. Either one can be a winning position. Right now, it seems like he's flooding lings, if I'm not mistaken.
It does seem like that. Spire halfway done right now here for Hero. And I mean, he should still be able to have 3 Mutalisks come out here right now. He's going to bank that up. Again, not an easy hold here for Hero, but it's doable. It's doable, but there may be too many lings here for Sulky.
I don't know. Yeah, he's made a lot of Zerglings, and in fact, Hero was droning a bit. Can Sulky actually break through? I don't think so. A couple more lings coming from the main base for Hero, and he does have a higher ling count right there. But that Spire is done for Sulky, and he's already making Mutalisks.
Yeah. It looks like so far he's been able to hold this. Hero does have ling speed, so he's able to at least keep up with these Zerglings. The lings are going to run by into the main. There's 3 here. Can he get any drones?
Oh, doesn't look like it.
No.
Hero blocks absolutely everything there. Does do a counterattack, but Sulky was waiting for this. He's setting up a sunken colony as well, drilling his drones through to try to lessen the surface area. And it looks like Sulky will hold on against this counterattack pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, he survives. It's going to be an uncomfortable position to be in, though. You know, the sunk, it will ensure that you don't just get insta-killed by a Ling counterattack, but at the same time, you really need the mutas as part of that defense. So he's going to move out. These Lings are going to try to run by again. Bear in mind as well, there is no anti-air right now for Hero other than his own Mutalisks and a Scourge. This is not a game where one side has committed with an Evo chamber. And so you don't have that kind of static defense.
As another counterattack here from Hero. He does end up getting a drone of Sulky. Sulky getting pretty low. Loses another. Loses another. Oh, man. The drone's really being reduced in number now. Very few drones remain here for Sulky. If he's going to win, I think he has to do it right now.
He might be able to do it, though. He's got a lot of mutas. He has to win this fight over here. Hero's not out of the woods just yet.
No, this is kind of crazy that Sulky is doing this well considering, but he has nothing left at home. If Hero can just finish off these mutas, he's trying. He's doing these moving shots. He's bringing his Scourge up, and I think Sulky has just about nothing left, Tasteless. But so does Hero.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess the Scourge are going to come out here. If that Scourge connects onto that muta, he actually sacks his own Scourge to hit that one. But I think that just barely Hero holds this off. One Mutalisk can't do enough damage in time. He's even going to micro this, try to send it into the extractor. Doesn't quite get it in there. But you've got to imagine there's more mutas in hatching here. Oh, just one more.
Wow. Yeah, and some Scourge come out as well, so he will be able to clean that up. And Sulky calls for GG. Hero making it a little bit closer. I do want to mention that we had the reverse build order twice and Sulky dominated. Here, when Sulky was behind, he actually made it pretty close considering the situation.
Yeah, just barely enough there for Hero to hold that off, and he started that comeback. He now has to win 2 more games to take this. Sulky, you know, for the first time really electing for that quick pool into quick gas, into quick Zerglings, and then obviously quick Mutalisks after that. It has not been working today, though. No matter who comes out with it, it seems like the player that's a little bit ready to receive the attack and invest in tier 2 tech is the winner.
Yep. Defensive builds are pretty darn good against 9 pool, but Sulky showing us some tactics, some ideas, some micro that can sometimes pull you through. This time, not enough for him. So he is going to have at least 2 more shots at taking home this ASL victory. Whereas Hero, if he can win this next game, it'll bring us to a game 7, and he'll have the momentum. He'll have the tempo on his side.
I've got my fingers crossed for Hero to take this. I would love to go to game 7. We rarely get a game 7, by the way, in ASL finals. It's just statistically very hard to get that out there. I think Hero did a good job. I don't think we're going to see Sulky go with the quick pool again. Sometimes that can be map dependent.
Hola, soy yo, tu piel seca. Afrontamos muchas cosas todos los días y pierdo las ceramidas que mi barrera necesita para mantenerme hidratada. Los hidratantes faciales de CeraVe, desarrollados con dermatólogos, aportan de forma continua 3 ceramidas esenciales que ayudan a restaurar mi barrera protectora y así poder retener la hidratación. Con CeraVe.
Okay, Marmaship Hunter. Let's see how it goes.
Vanish.
Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. See how much he does. It's a mini hunter. Okay. Here comes. Holy. Oh, it does matter because I put a debuff on him. I mean, this is pretty good though.
Stealth.
I mean, they still do a lot.
Yeah. It's only the row. It's pretty much the same though, you just press Eviscerate instead of a Venom.
Stealth.
Oh my god.
Can you say that again, Peppa?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
10 seconds.
Okay.
We need to quit.
Alright, that's great. Wow. Wow.
Grounding.
What was that?
Like this.
Okay.
We need to quit.
Alright, that's great. Wow. Wow.
So like this.
Inner shrugging. Stealth. Intimidation.
Wait, I'm gonna grab some water and come back. I mean, it's a tank rune, you know, so you're not supposed to do that much. Let's see with the Pyroblast. See how it feels.
Berserker range. In range.
See the burst.
PI. Death wish.
Okay. Let's see how much Shatter Burst can do. Yeah, I guess that's fine.
Death wish down.
Wait, why did I get a debuff? What the hell was that? Can you burst me down? 100. Is there any damage in the lair, bro? What? Okay, red is by far the worst, dude. You're good to go whenever. Oh wow. Oh wow. That was definitely really good, dude.
Resurrection. Resurrection.
Okay, Boomy.
Stealth.
Okay. Say Boomy.
Stealth.
Yeah, okay. Let's see a Pharaoh Druid. Wow, that was really fast. Let's see how much damage Eha does. I thought Eha would do more damage. What the hell?
I can't cast that yet.
LA damage is kinda not that great though. Wake. Now it's learning. Warrior City, let's see. It's Armor's Warrior.
Stealth.
Don't think that was wrecked though. Yeah. It's a net. Oh wow. That was really fast. Holy. That was insane. I think it's good that they're testing it out, but I think like 50% is too much. I feel like it needs to be something around 30 or 25%. I feel like 50% is just way too much, in my opinion.
ready yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet.
Fucking destroying, baby.
can't cast that yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready. I can't cast that yet. It's too far away.
Grounding. Still.
I need to get closer. That's still recharging. It's not ready yet.
Grounding. Earthbind.
That's still recharging.
Earthbind. Grounding.
It's too
Grounding.
far away. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet.
Still. Grounding. In range. In range. Vanish. Resurrection. Resurrection.
We're gonna roll here soon. No way.
Stealth. Stealth. Refractory range. Cold blood. Stealth. Engage. Stealth. Cannibalize. Resurrection. DC. Stealth. Resurrection.
I need to take a break from this game. I don't like this phase. I think I'm gonna play some Diablo. Like, I don't even want to level a new class. No classes seem like super interesting.
Hello. See you later.
I do want to go get my trinket though. We're gonna go do that.
Where would you like to fly to?
Well.
What's good, team, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to show you what has to be the most lesser known yet insanely powerful PvP build in all of Season of Discovery. It's a Warlock build. I haven't seen anyone else in PvP play it, and it's not any of the Soul Link builds like you often see where you're just extremely tanky, don't take a lot of damage, and have loads of sustain. This is an extremely high risk but high reward. I'm going to coin it the instant delete class of the build. Now, just to demonstrate how it works, is we start off out of range, we send our imp over the succubus to seduce the target. If they're a tanky target, you'll want to chuck up a curse of the elements. Then we demonic grace into a chaos bolt, and immolate, and a conflagrate.
That spell isn't ready yet.
Done deal. Instant delete. Every time, on the tankiest of classes. Absolutely insane. And it's really simple. Here's another example. I'm going to send up my succubus from afar. Sneaky deaky. Going to lock them. Send it up. Get the old Seduce on. Come in with a Demonic Grace into a Chaos Bolt. Alright, in this case we're gonna walk away. Death Coil. Immolate. Conflagrate dead. Now that wasn't quite as good, but the point is that it's very versatile at the same time. All you do is you get them away from yourself, you lock them with the Seduce or a Fear, and then you Demonic Grace into a Chaos Bolt and then into a Conflagrate, and you'll win every single time. It crits consistently, you're doing around 4k damage, so even the tankiest of classes will just get absolutely deleted in front of you. So here's a quick demonstration of how it works. There's a mage up ahead. I send the minion in for a Seduction. Now the target is locked, we come in with a Demonic Grace into a Chaos Bolt with an Immolate, and the target is deleted. Literally that simple. Let's... Literally everyone can appreciate it, it's hilarious. If we have a look at the combat log, that was a ridiculous amount of damage. So now this works on any class, and if you want even more damage, let's say we find a tanky class, what you do is when you lock them, you go in with the Curse of Elements. And that's going to give you an extra 8% burst damage on the target, so even a tank warrior or a paladin, anything will get absolutely obliterated in front of your eyes. Lock them in place. Demonic Grace into a Chaos Bolt, into an Immolate,
That spell isn't ready yet.
and they're just dead. It's honestly crazy. You just have to play the class. You just fear them, lock them in place with a Seduction, Chaos Bolt. If we look at the mage that I just killed a minute ago, we had a total of 2,000 from the Chaos Bolt, 1,000 from the Conflagrate, and 600 from the Immolate. So that's a collective damage of 3,600 done in a split second. And then if we add an 8% multiplier onto that, simple math. Lock them in place. Demonic Grace into a Chaos Bolt. Immolate.
That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging.
And delete. Every time. Works every time. Now if we just stand to the side for a second, let's talk about how the build is actually created. So we're going to start off with the gear and the runes. Now as I mentioned earlier, first mistake people make is prioritizing Master Channeler and sustainability. If your crits don't go off, you have a high chance of dying, so you have to stack demonic tactics all the way. You obviously don't need the 25% damage from Incinerate. We always want to proc Demonic Grace when it's available. That's critical. And then the other ones that are essential is the Shadow and Flame. Obviously it's all about the crit damage, so that's just going to stack it even higher. And Backdraft. Now we don't have Incinerate, we're not going to be using Shadow Bolts, so what you're going to do is spamming Immolate. The front damage with Backdraft means you have a super fast cast time is enough to, finish off your enemy if you don't have a Shadow Burn available. Now as for the rest of it, you could go with Immolation Aura. That's good if you have invisible enemies. Demonic Knowledge is just good for your overall stats, and overall Chaos Bolt is also essential. Now as for the gear, just crit. Anything with crit, probably stamina, is essential. For example, Breath of the Beast, you can get that from the World Offerings. Same with Cord of the Untamed, and pretty much everything else.
World Offerings, that's
None of my gear is that
offerings.
impressive, it's just about stacking the crit. Now as for the talents, obviously we have to come down and select Conflagrate. We'll also want Ruin, because that's going to give us huge crit damage that's just going to whip your enemies into a good shape. As for Demonology, just got a little bit of extra stam, and for the Affliction build, just improve Corruption in case you do have to finish off any enemies, or they're running away from you, you can pop up some curses and maybe fear them off to finish them. And that's pretty much it. All you have to do is get in your Seduction. You can often bait enemies, they can't see your minion, you get off the Seduction just like that, we go for the Demonic Grace, that comes in, Chaos Bolt, Immolate, delete. Every time. The crits always proc. It's just absolutely crazy.
So
Poor
it's
dude's been killed
crazy
twice now.
how
That's a real
bad
shame.
this
I feel
build
for him.
is in
That's not,
PvP.
you know, for the sake of the
It's
video.
so-
Anyway, that's it. This
so
is the
bad.
spec. I haven't
I
seen
did-
anyone playing in PvP. Everyone goes for the tanky builds, but this
Oh,
is
wait,
all
I have
you need
this.
if you want to delete your enemies. So much more fun. Bait them, stun them, delete them. As always, if you enjoy the video, smash the like and subscribe buttons, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
That spell isn't ready yet. It's not ready. Let's get this party started. I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging.
That's pretty disgusting. What is the best warlock build? The Destro? Says DPS warlock. I'm gonna click on it. Doesn't let me. I can't click on any. Man, I was wondering why I was tickling that guy. I'm stupid.
Weights or calisthenics? Which is better for biceps? Pelican curls are not for the faint-hearted. The magic happens thanks to the fully stretched contraction. The biceps are working at long muscle lengths, which is useful for hypertrophy. Posture relative to the ground influences difficulty. Curling with the arms behind the body offers unrivaled stress.
The incline curl builds strength in an extended shoulder position. This builds your biceps while stretching the shoulders and chest. Stressing these lengthened positions is important for improving mobility and range of motion long term. Don't neglect these positions in your training to build a well-rounded physique.
Weights or calisthenics, which is better for biceps? Pelican curls are not for the faint-hearted. The magic happens thanks to the fully stretched contraction. The biceps are working at long muscle lengths, which is useful for hypertrophy. Posture relative to the ground influences difficulty. Curling with the arms behind the body offers unrivaled stress.
The incline curl builds strength in an extended shoulder position. This builds your biceps while stretching the shoulders.
Whole body deodorant with unbelievably long-lasting scents isn't a myth.
Alright, here we go, boys. It's time to play a real PvP game that Index would never understand. Let me see what talents I have. I need to remember to kick. Way too many buttons in my opinion. All you need is Sealer Command and Judgment Auto Attack. Index, do you want to be bullied? Alright, time to get owned, boys. Hello, everyone. Wow, what a beautiful day to play World of Warcraft. Can someone explain what we need to do in this mode? Wow, good talk, guys. What happened to WoW, chat? Nobody talks in this game. Oh, they're talking. They're talking. My bad, Kings. Yeah, no idea, man. I've never done this either. The same as normal, pretty sure. Haha. Just got back after 8 months away. Oh, welcome back. I'm pretty sure it's smaller battleground, so cap. Oh, never mind. The community is back, chat. What is Alliance doing? No one's capping that. Hello. Decal? Wait, I know Decal. Yo, Kings, we need some backup. We need some backup over here. My lords. Kick that. Insane. I'm gonna just watch the flag, yeah? I'm gonna go eat this to reset my cooldown real fast. Get my wings up again. Wait, I'm kind of a fan of this. My gear is equalized. I didn't even need gear, chat. Maybe I'm missing like the set bonuses though. I definitely didn't miss this though. Me just punching a tree and no one's dying. That's not good.
Dude, what is that damage, man?
Oh! Chat! I missed this. Were you guys here when I was doing Ret Basin on Classic? That was miserable.
Still.
That was fucking miserable. Dude, I don't know. We have so many content. WoW went from having no content to having too much. I'm actually unsure what to do. Season 4 is starting. Kata is starting. Mob Remix is starting. There's just so much to do. And SOD is going on. Arathi Basin is the purest form of Battleground. I'm holding from saying something really bad. I want to say what comics usually says.
And I
don't even say it out loud. No, don't.
No. Wait.
Yeah, we kick those.
Dude, you're being a fucking faggot, bro.
Humongous.
I'm literally PvE build.
Alright, we can never kill this druid, chat. I think we just CC him and kill other stuff. Or blind. Oh my god, he's jumping around everywhere. I have a stun from out of form. We kill him. He's got a bump. We kick that. Okay, so this map, it uncaps for some reason. I guess that's the mode. That's bubble. That big damn chat. We're gonna pretend like we're focusing on the druid, and then we swap to the paladin, bubbling for this kill. Insane. Oh, dude, paladin's kind of hot on retail. This is hot, boys. Oh no, this is the druid chat.
Dude, fuck off, you fucking nigs, man.
I'm trying to kill this guy. So I'm gonna blind him and swap to the warrior.
I can't even buy my goddamn fucking gear, man.
Pick those. Stun all the pets. Gotta get the sealer. Shed Avenge. Oh, I forgot. I have insta heals. Okay, can we kill this criminal monster, chat? Okay, Tranquility is like bubble now. I must. Stun all the pet. Heal up a little bit. Nice, we got
you
the
fucking
gap.
nignogs done?
Spin this
or
bad boy
what?
now.
Like, damn, dude.
Nice. Just came back to retail today to get farm by Deckle, I literally said, yo, I know Deckle. Deckle's an insane warrior, chat. Super good warrior. I just came back too. It's kind of cool to see all the familiar faces. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Any sort of WoW content is always gonna have ups and downs. So there's gonna be downtime in like
Holy
classic. There's
fucking
gonna be
shit,
downtime
man.
in retail.
I hope these
and-
kids get cancer in
and
real
those
life.
times you just go play different modes and have fun. I'll try to juggle both this time. Okay, I might save for weapon. Or should I get the conquest weapon? Oh, dude, the arena gear is so much harder. Does this matter? Oh, dude, this weapon looks insane. Yo, call Bean. It's time to Ret Pharaoh 2v2 or something. That's what Index sent me just now. He said he's mad at me.
VTubers. They're the perfect fusion between Japanese idols and anime females, and have become super popular, all thanks to Hororaivu and its CEO, Yago. And I, Suki, VTubers. Some of my favorites are Usada Pekora, Hosho Marin, Lapirasu Darkness, Nekomata Okayu, and of course my Oshi, Inogami Korone. And they are so kawaii and funny and super sugoi. Domo arigatou gozaimashita, Yago-san, for giving us VTubers. But there's one
Can we ban Index chat? Oh, what am I watching right now?
problem. This.
Go put your penis inside a woman! Are you a bitch?
This is a common occurrence with Western VTubers. These baka gaijus are disgusting and not kawaii at all.
Honestly, this guy's right. The Japanese ones are tame. The Western VTubers are very like, oh, Metapod, Harden. Oh, chat, look at this. Highlight topic. EU XNA crossplay Blizzard would like it to happen. But there are many barriers, like regulatory issues from different countries. Yo, can this happen? Blizzard, you have no idea how big this is. It's so hot. Hot like Deckle. Oh my goodness. Wait, you have better gear than me, Deckle. How did you get this? What is this class gear? You boosted? Oh, this is boost gear. Deckle, unbelievable, man. Oh my, this guy's boosting? Deckle, what is this? I right click it? Isn't this the boost gear? Close. Deckle.
Hello, my.
What am I seeing? Yo, the speed is amazing. What is that? Oh, I thought it was a ghost. Oh, I missed this combo.
I got my stupid trinket. It was so fucking miserable to get. And I don't even want to play my fucking paladin anymore.
Tranquility. Tranquility is bubble, right?